Today is a good day, every day will be a good day. This is my quote. Does that mean that now it's copyrighted?
Musicians are often accused of plagiarizing older songs.
I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes.
But this isn't the only case of plagiarism though. In March, a song by Indian composer Joey Mendoza went viral in Singapore because of how familiar it sounded. After a lot of back and forth, the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth said that Mendoza had rescinded his claims. But what counts as plagiarism? Why not just sue for copyright infringement? We all know what plagiarism is from school. When you copy someone else's work, wholesale, without citing the original author. But it seems a lot less clear-cut with music.
Is it right to say that actually plagiarism and copyright infringement is the same thing? It's just that one is used in the legal term.
Plagiarism, I guess in a sense, is not usually the term used by lawyers when we argue and fight these cases. We tend to prefer to use the phrase copyright and copyright infringement. I think that they are very closely related concepts. Just that copyright would be the phrase and the term that we would use when one thinks about taking legal action against somebody else for copying my piece of work.
Then in the case of MCCY versus Joey Mendoza, right? Why was the offence framed as plagiarism and not copyright infringement?
I think there was no particular intention to frame it as this way or the other. I think that what was just being put out there was to make it clear that plagiarism had occurred, and therefore they are asking the affected parties to admit that it has taken place and then to stop doing it. In the early days, there was a bit of they did not want to admit that they had copied it, yes, which would then probably have prompted MCCY to take further steps to defend, to assert copyright.
In 2016, Ed Sheeran was accused of plagiarizing a song from Marvin Gaye.
Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. Let's get it on.
So who will win and how?
If you can really prove that I independently came up with it, I've never had access to your song, I've never heard your song in the whole life, I composed a piece of music, coincidentally, it sounds exactly the same. Strictly speaking, there is no copyright infringement. If I'm the copyright owner, what I need to show the court is like, look, this is my piece of work, that is the other piece of work, it's so similar, there's no way he could have come up with it without copying mine. Then, burden of proof shifts to the other person. So in this case, you say it's Ed Sheeran. So you would shift to Ed Sheeran. He would have to prove that, no, I've never heard of Marvin Gaye, I've never heard of his song. Ultimately, it's going to be a situation whether the court believes you when you say that.
We can do the detective test. The lie
The lie detector.
The lie detector test.
Up to this day, the case is still being argued in court.
So the difference between parody and satire, like in Singapore's law, right? How does it work?
Again, there's no clear cut. Yeah, if you publish it for fun on Facebook or YouTube, then maybe it's still. But once you put it on YouTube, arguably you are paid, right? So there comes a point where you might not be able to just say, I'm just doing it for fun. Actually, you have a commercial motive. So to be safe, always get permission. Otherwise, you will run the risk that one day you'll receive a lawyer's letter.
Make a parody at your own risk.
What I often hear is that, oh, but I've given an acknowledgement or I've given attribution to that author, so that means it's enough, I can do it. It's not an automatic hall pass.
I feel like music creators are very lonely and they are fighting literally like the whole world. Oh my god, it's very sad like when people just take your thing and then don't tell you. Is copyright automatically applied in Singapore?
To give an example, yeah, if I were to write a book, right, Once the book is complete, I would automatically have copyright. There's no registration process in that sense. Some countries may have a registration system, but by and large, most countries will give you that copyright.
How much similarity must there be in order for it to become like a...
Infringing piece of work?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. The courts don't like to lay down very specific guidelines. They won't say like, you have copied 11%, therefore you are infringing. But if you had copied 10%, you would not be infringing. They want to have that kind of flexibility to ensure that justice is done, I guess.
Will copyright expire?
Yes, it does expire. It used to be up to the lifetime of the author, and then 50 years after that. And then now, I think with the latest amendments, it's 70 years after that.
So that means after that, right, if the author died already at 20 years old, then that means 90 years later, people can just start quoting without any consequences, right?
That's right.
Wow, that must wait. So if the author already passed away, right, but it's still within the copyright, the few years, right, who's gonna sue?
The copyright is a personal right, so it belongs to that person. When he passes away, like the rest of his estate, you can pass it down to your beneficiaries under your will. Well, one would hope that you don't will all your rights to your pet dog or your pet cat. Because then otherwise your pet dog or pet cat is going to have to sue, right?
If I don't want to give my kids or my pets anything, then like, what happens?
Yeah, then if you're not going to pass it down to anybody, nobody has the right, acquires the rights to your work, then it goes into the public domain and anybody can freely use it.
Okay, one last question. So that means, right, I can just come up with a quote and then like it's naturally copyrighted to me, correct? Because it's recorded. So like today is a good day, every day will be a good day. This is my quote. Does that mean that now it's copyrighted? Because it's recorded. It is, right?
This is where you have to engage the services of a professional lawyer to advise you on that.